Welcome to my channel and thanks for watching this video. Friends, we have ended with one more highly volatile week, and the next week, let me tell you, comes up with another volatility with or probably in the same or a new form, but volatility will be there. So let's discuss what's there in the pack for the next week. But before that, if you haven't yet subscribed my channel, just hit on the subscription button. Also hit on the notification bell along with the all button to get my updated video notification. Now, for this USA weekly market report, let me tell you one thing very clearly, which is driving lots of stocks and sectors, and there is a consistency in the trend. That's what is important. You may see, so this section, this left hand corner section, is always filled with the geopolitical tension. And now, with this is not enough, I'll tell you one more news which you may not find on the business channels, on the top front of the business channel, but it is there and you will probably see that. So you should have known these things. So this is the article by CNN, where you can see the headline is saying that Finland and Sweden could soon join NATO, promoted by Russian war in Ukraine. So if this happens, then Russia will definitely think that this is a potential threat, and a probable war front will open again. Okay, I'm not a geopolitical analyst or something like that, but we have to read and take a note of these kind of things, or the changing scenarios of the geopolitics, which is very important. So please have a note of this thing, and if this thing comes up again, multiple war fronts will open up. So this is not a good indication, right? So you must take a note of this news as well. Now, going back to the market news, now Fed is expecting that Fed rising interest rate can help to get inflation lower, and obviously the first sentence this is the first half and why it could fail. Obviously, until and unless you talk about peace, until and unless you have a clear policy which a layman can understand, that the war or the geopolitical tension ends now. If they understand that, then only you can see lower in inflation prices, because this kind of geopolitical tension which is related to war keeps on brewing up, and things are not okay on the real time or on the ground, then commodity prices will be on the rise. And this is just the beginning. Okay, whatever has happened in 1 year is just the trailer. The entire movie is yet to be seen. So one must not have any doubt what is about to happen. And the kind of stance the global leaders, as I have been saying it again and again, these kind of stance are not at all good. If you are looking at the stance of the top, nobody is talking about that this should stop now. You are supplying everything, and we are not in a, when you are talking the other party to stop whatever wrongdoings has been happening, but you have to stop from both the ends. It's not that one party or the one person is going to be stopped and the next person will eventually stop. This is not the scenario right now. Things are happening on both the side, and without further talking about it, this is not my foray. But the thing is, at least as a layman, I do not get anything which suits me and which is telling me that this is going to end soon. That's what I'm saying. So the inflation will definitely become a problem. Eventually this big inflation or high interest rate are good for banks. Generally, we have seen that thing, and the businesses which are on the growth track, and the businesses which are running on high debts and they don't have enough cash on their books to run on the business will definitely be in problem, because now you need business which can actually generate profit, actual profit, not potential profit. So this is what you have as far as the important thing that you should understand. Now quickly go to the market section and let us see what has happened, because we have seen at least some green ticks after volatility. So Dow ended up with 137 points on Friday. Then we have Nasdaq, because it is a high beta and very sensitive to the movement of dollar index. It's been down by 186 point. Then S&P 500 is 0.27% down. Gold, after testing the lows of 1920, 1980, 1920, now trading at 1950. Then oil is steady at or in between $95 and $100. The US 10-year yield, I have said this thing 2-3 weeks back or probably a month back that it's going to happen. It is moving towards 3%. And now, last week it was 2.58%. This week it is 2.7%. So you are going to face the inflation, and the short-term risk is very high, and that's why the interest rate. This is one of the reason interest rate is moving higher. VIX is okay, fine right now. It is not at 30, it is 21, but it does not matter, because eventually whenever the market see uncertainty, the risk can move from 20 to 40 or 50 even in couple of hours. So it is not a matter of concern. It is just a calm before the storm, things like that. Now I was very bullish with the natural gas. Last week it was like $5.5. Now it is trading at 6.3 in a week time. And then you have all the commodities, whether talking about wheat, close 3% up. Then we have copper, silver, soybean, corn. Everything is on the upside. And if these things continues, then agro commodities are going to make a huge move. So be ready for that. Again, those who are importing food items. So US, if somebody is thinking that US is the world leader and they are going to spare it off, it's not going to happen. Eventually they have to face the heat in one form or the other. They may have money, but it's all when it comes down to food and everything, and they are also the huge importer of things. So they will eventually face the heat. So it is in a mutual benefit to lower the guard and just talk about peace, because this kind of rhetorics where things are really uncertain could really make food items eventually make big moves on the upside, and it is not good for the society. Now the dollar index slowly creeping up from 97.98 to 99.84, and eventually 100 is going to be a certainty. So let's quickly jump onto the charts and let us see what do we have. So first is going to be the first chart that we're going to look at will definitely be the US dollar, and US dollar is certainly moving towards 103, 104. Breakout has already happened. The next move is going to be 102, then 104, 105. But the kind of uncertainty we have here, once it makes its move beyond 104, 105, you will definitely see 120. I was very skeptical a couple of months back because trend is indicating the same, but news was not there, and that's why whenever DXY moves toward 93, 94, and you will see eventually fall, big falls from those levels. But this time things are different. So right now it will enter, or once it enters above $100, or once it started trading above 101, 102, you will definitely see the next range that will open up for US dollar or DXY in between 105 107. And just hope for better things, because once it moves beyond 107 120 is going to be a possibility. And if 120 happens per dollar, it will hurt everybody. It will definitely hurt everybody. So brace yourself, things are going to get worse. Okay, after that, let's go to Nasdaq and let us see what is happening over there. So for Nasdaq, we have talked about this trend. For Nasdaq, we have talked about this trend, and here we are. So the trend is intact. So this is, if you have watched my USA weekly market report last month, so this was your big trend where we are talking about the levels of or the big support of 9,000 for Nasdaq, or in between 9,000 and 10,000. So we cannot rule out that possibility either, because the long-term trend is saying so. So what do we have here? The Nasdaq now, for an upside, must started trading above 14,220 or in between 220 250. Otherwise, if things lingers on, you will have a big slide on the downside, and indications are there. So please take a note of it, and this will happen slowly and gradually. Okay, this will definitely happen slowly and gradually. And if this trend will not work, okay, for when I'm talking about the downside, the Nasdaq must started trading above 14,500 to prove that the downside is a false, and we are moving towards an upside. But indications right now is on the downside. Let's go to the Dow Jones Industrial. It is also on the same path. We can't see anything specific or anything which is telling us that the trend has changed and all those things. The trend is same, and on the downside, what we have on the downside is this level, because we are not getting confidence, that's for sure. If you are looking at the trend, we are not at all getting confidence, that's for sure. And this is what we have. So if you are looking at this trend, even for Dow Jones, you are not getting anything which makes you feel good. Okay, so this is not happening right now. So please be sure for the things which you are asking. Okay, don't do anything unnecessary. Then the next chart that we are going to look at will be gold, because gold slowly and steadily, this is a future chart of gold. And as you can see, people can say anything in the market talking about the gold, what will happen, what is the move, but those who rely on data, those who only focus on data, they will find their way out. They will definitely find their way out, and they are not going to be bothered by the things which people say. And gold eventually makes its move, or indeed making its move. So on the downside, it has touched 1915, and once gold started trading, or gold futures started trading above 1951 or 1952, the next target will be 1968, and then we will officially start our journey for 2014 and $2068 on the upside. So this is what the chart of gold is saying. Now, the things which we are going to look at are basically the commodities. If you are talking about, let's say, just a random, let's go to the commodities section. So this is this is commodity futures. So as you can see, I'm just opening up the long-term chart for US sugar hash 11 futures. Now, if you are looking at any agro commodity, what you can observe is the question. Yeah, because generally commodity moves in cycle, but the kind of steadiness they are displaying is phenomenal, and one must not have any doubt in their mind about the movement or the price change. I'm just typed a random commodity which is tradable, and I just opened up the chart. And right now, if you're talking about wheat is obviously, I mean, whatever European Union is saying, that's one thing, but they are going to suffer a lot because the kind of inflation that will start, when agri commodities started moving, and when the food items moves higher, then obviously the kind of things happening in the economy or happens in the economy is way beyond imagination. So right now, if you're looking at the chart of sugar, this is, as I told you, US sugar hashtag 11 futures. And if you're looking at the trend, on the downside you have 10.94 and $10.2 on the downside, and eventually what we are looking here is a range which is in between 38 and 67. So we have a way to go on the upside. Okay, so please do not have any doubt that things are going to be normal soon. That's not going to happen, right? So this is the end of the video. I think I have covered most of it. Things are not looking normal. Market will be volatile, and whatever moves that we can see right now is not at all giving us a clear picture about the trend, right? It is just saying that whatever you do, think and then act. So this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching.